Suriano at the draw circle. It's up, and Sullivan controls at first possession. Here goes to Maryland. Sullivan, the Bel Air product, who has been fantastic for Maryland this year. First look at this Terrapin offense. Only 8 goals in the win over Rutgers on Wednesday. 8-7 the final score. Corey Edmondson netted the game winner with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, Edmondson is the key cog in this Maryland attack. So much talent, but she's the one who's the biggest star for them.
This is Kate Seitz behind the cage. She has been fantastic as a grad student this year. Pass from Seitz, that gets away. And an early turnover here for the Terps.
Yeah, and if you're this Johns Hopkins team, that is exactly what you want to see early on. Forcing turnovers, giving yourself chances, not letting Maryland get big chances of their own.
We get our first look at the Johns Hopkins offense today without its top player, Ashley Mackin, for the 3rd straight game, Dash.
Yeah, and that's not going to be something that they're going to be feeling great about, but also for Hopkins, they know they've got a lot of talent. Other players certainly can do a ton for this team today against Maryland.
Macklin last played on April 10th against Ohio State. She is out day-to-day with a lower body injury. Second leading scorer in the Big Ten with 55 goals, and monumental loss for this Blue Jay team.
Yeah, she's a remarkable player for them.
Still a lot of talent on the offensive side, and here's one of those pieces. Emily Peak, the midfielder. Right, that's Ava Angela, one of the top scorers on Hopkins, behind Mackin.
Yeah, and Angela is also a really outstanding player. Such a key player for this Hopkins team.
Maryland's defense has been strong in recent contests after that being a slight issue for this team in recent weeks. First shot, and it goes in past Suriano. That's Lacey Downey. Hopkins on the board first today.
Yeah, and call it curse the announcer, but that's exactly what Hopkins wanted. Downey's also been on fire for them. She scored the game winner last time out for this Hopkins team against Penn State in overtime, and now 2 straight goals for her team.
Transfer out of Boston College, and she has been phenomenal out of the midfield. Just a sophomore. Did not see as much action as she wanted on the 2024 National Championship team, and she has the first today here of this in-state rivalry.
Yeah, that's exactly the start Hopkins wanted. Force the turnover, go around, get their own possession to end with a goal, and this is exactly the start they wanted.
That's Downey's 18th tally of the season. Maryland fell behind in its win over Rutgers back on Wednesday. Terps outscored the Scarlet Knights 4-2 in the final quarter to come away with the win in Piscataway. Whistle blows. Gilmore retains control. Had 3 draw controls in the win over Rutgers, but Maryland does revert some of its use on the draw control to a couple of other pieces, including Haley Russo and Sullivan.
Yeah, it is worth noting, though, that a couple of those players, Sullivan and Gilmore, both very young, and their opposite number for Hopkins, Laurel Gonzalez, also a freshman. So, interesting matchup of some really elite young face-off artists.
Here's Edmondson, the talented junior. See how Maryland can operate here on the second possession.
Yeah, the ball movement's been good.
Sullivan had it knocked out of her stick. Another turnover forced by this Blue Jay team.
This is a great start defensively for Hopkins. Maryland moving the ball really well, but great job of the Blue Jays there to get that turnover.
And this is exactly what Tim McCormick wanted out of his squad to start. Outlet pass up ahead to Regan O'Brien. And a whistle. Looks like we'll have a free position look here within the 8-meter.
This is not quite a dream start yet for Hopkins, but it's getting close to it. I mean, the offense looks really smooth. Defense looks great. Angela, just a weapon.
And another score for Hopkins early on. Charlotte Smith, the senior. 2-0 Hopkins to begin this one on the road.
Yeah, just no mistakes there from Smith. A great free position right there. And for Hopkins, dream start gets better. You just see right there, completely composed, great finish.
Got it past the stick of Suriano. Sophomore goalkeeper has had to come into her own Past the keeper, Suriano, the sophomore, who has had to come into her own completely this year and really taken over the starting goalkeeper position, Dash.
Yeah, and certainly for her, nothing she can really do at that. It's a great shot by Smith. Smith, a Baltimore native, and she's certainly adding some fuel to the early fire of this in-state rivalry.
Not the position Maryland had hoped to be in here early on.
Yeah, especially remarkable given they've won both draw controls so far, and yet they're down 2-0.
And Gonzalez, a freshman in the circle for Hopkins, top in the Big Ten with 65. Gilmore wins another. That's 3 in favor of Maryland, but the score is still 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts for Maryland that when they've got that possession advantage, they're having these turnovers early on here. Terps really need to get a shot off on this possession, just get something going.
Kennedy Major brings it across the line, and Maryland brings it back into the attacking zone. 2 turnovers in the first 2 possessions. How can Maryland adjust here, Dash?
Honestly, I think a lot of it's just going to be about being more clinical with that final pass. They've been moving the ball well, but it's just sloppy passing, sloppy control. Just got to be making sure they're not doing anything too sloppy at the end of the move.
Thomas dishes inside, and the shot was turned wide. That came from Sullivan. Another stop for the Blue Jays.
It's much better there from Maryland, though. That was a really good look.
Here's McNaughton, a junior out of Ontario. And that pass too high, an errant one. Turnover for the Blue Jays.
And Johns Hopkins have also had a couple of kind of errant passes here early on. The previous one was picked up off the bounce. That one wasn't.
So Maryland 2 turnovers. Hopkins just nets it first. 3 empty possessions for this Terrapin team to begin the game. See how they can adjust here on the 4th. It's about 4.5 minutes gone in this one in College Park. Good crowd on hand on a beautiful day.
Yeah, I mean, certainly what you'd expect. In-state rivalry, 2 of the best teams in the country. The fans certainly want to see this one.
Here's Avazia. Gives back to Thomas. Maryland looks to find a cutter here. And continues to go behind the goal. Avazia again dished inside Lipkin, and she finishes in front.
That was a great pass and a great little fake and finish right there. It's exactly what Maryland needed.
Jordyn Lipkin, her 28th of the year, cuts this deficit in half.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Seitz works to the middle. That's a triple team that comes through for Hopkins. Chrissy Thomas, she loves to pass from this spot. And a whistle. Thomas, 31 assists to lead this Maryland team.
Yeah, she is a true playmaker.
Edmondson knocked a body down. And Seitz still with it. Shot clock at 15. Ball comes out of the stick of Abazia. And Hopkins forces another turnover. That's 3 for the Terps. Here it comes in transition with Quinlan O'Brien. To the opposite side, free position look upcoming.
Yeah, that was a great job by O'Brien there, pushing the pace. Hopkins gets some decent passing and a good look. And yeah, this is a big opportunity here for the Blue Jays.
And Charlotte Smith, who already scored on a free position look today. Another chance for her right here. The senior ready on the right side of your screen. And Suriano denies it.
It's another big save right there.
Some really impressive stops on back-to-back possessions for the sophomore keeper to keep Hopkins from expanding its lead.
Yeah, those are definitely big. You do not want to give either of these teams multi-goal leads.
Absolutely, Dash. 4 minutes to go in this opening quarter. Pretty action-packed so far.
Absolutely. It's been high on drama. Even when we don't get goals, we get exciting moments.
And Dash, it's been such an inexperienced Maryland team compared to years past. How do you think have they gotten better as the years gone on?
I mean, I think for them, it's just getting to play together more often is really helpful for them. And we know there's talent. There's always going to be talent on a Maryland team, and now they're one of the best teams in the country.
Behind the goal, another look. Lipkin! A first quarter hat trick for Jordyn Lipkin. Game tied 3-3.
That is some outstanding ball movement. Lipkin gets into a great position, and she is not going to miss from there. She is causing Hopkins some serious problems right now.
Jordyn Lipkin putting this team on her back here in the opening frame.
Yeah, that is a great pass right there. And Lipkin just in a great position. She finishes brilliantly. Great work by LaPointe with that pass. Great work by Lipkin with that finish. There we go again. Tie ball game.
Dash, it's evident in this one that Maryland has to find a way to put as many shots as possible on Morgan Giardina. She's allowed the most goals in the Big Ten this year.
Yeah, I mean, for Maryland, like, they're going to be seeing that as an invitation. Like, let's go attack. And right now, certainly when they're getting their shots off, they're doing a good job of it.
So that goal actually number 30 on the year for Jordyn Lipkin. Entered the day with 27.
Man, the rate she's playing, she might have 40 by the end of the day.
And a 30-goal season is extremely impressive, Dash.
It sure is. And she's an extremely impressive player.
Another look here for Maryland after the draw control win. Game tied 3-3 in this opening frame. Whistle here. So far away this year has been Jordyn Lipkin's best year. She had 20 in a really impressive freshman campaign, followed that by 12 in 2023. Last year, just 1 goal in 1 game played, and this year all the way up to 30 in her senior year. We got a green card here, and this is going to have Maryland go a player up. Maryland a player up here.
Yeah, it was on Gonzalez, who's a big loss for Hopkins while she's out.
Maryland has been very efficient on player up opportunities this year.
It's a golden opportunity here for the Terps.
Edmondson works it back down low here for LaPointe. Thomas weaves inside, loses the ball. And with the ground ball free, this is a big one. And Thomas does a nice job to hit it back, and Maryland has an opportunity to get this one back, and they do. That was Nevo Farrell to scoop up an all-important ground ball.
Yeah, it was a nice job by her right there, under pressure.
Penalty releases here. Back to even strength. Seitz works her way around before giving off to Gilmore. Here's Thomas from behind the cage. She looks to play make. Passes low. LaPointe does a good job to handle it. She takes it to the front, and she fires and scores. Maryland, its first lead today, and it comes off the stick of Lauren LaPointe.
Yeah, it's a great job there by LaPointe. Got the assist on Lipkin's last goal, but this time, really difficult control. Keeps the ball. Is able to keep possession for Maryland, and then goes around and gets that shot from a ridiculous angle. You see right there, it's a tough angle. Giardina might feel she needs to stop that one, but for LaPointe, good job creating a goal out of what did not look to be an obvious chance.
And if you look at it from a stats perspective here, Dash, 4 goals for Maryland on just 5 shots. All 5 of them have been on cage.
Yeah.
If you get the ball on cage, that's where success comes.
Yeah, the challenge here is just getting chances for Maryland. But once they get the chances, they're converting.
Draw control in favor of Maryland 4-3. And we've had a couple of violations, and Gilmore wins another as a result.
Yeah, and this is where you start to see those draw controls prove helpful as well. With all the turnovers, Maryland is not being outshot by all that much by Hopkins. Both teams have 5 shots on goal.
Efficient work from both offenses so far, minus a couple of turnovers on each side.
Certainly.
Final minute here of the opening frame. Gilmore has it knocked out of her stick. That's a nice defensive play from Regan O'Brien. Has her sister Quinlan. They're both on the defense, so have to first name call them out here throughout the day. 2 very talented defenders.
Absolutely. Hopkins is glad to have both of them for sure.
So Maryland with its first possession following grabbing the lead. See what it does here. Abazia weaves through. And a whistle here.
Yeah, good defending there, although giving up a chance for her to restart it. Not ideal.
Edmondson thought about it, and she takes it in and scores. The officials are waving it off.
Well, that's a pity for Maryland because that was a really nice finish.
I did hear the whistle, and Edmondson played through, and as you mentioned, Dash, that was a great shot. You can see the smile from Reese. However, Maryland will have a free position look here with Edmondson, so a chance to get it right back.
Hey, we won't know who's called off on the highlight reel.
Edmondson, 40-goal scorer. 7th in the Big Ten in goals per game. Here she goes. Low, and she scores.
Nice job there by Edmondson to keep her composure. Gets her goal in the end. And for Maryland now, this is a bit of a dream finish for this first quarter.
No harm, no matter. Edmondson does it 2 times. Only one of them had to count, and it's 5-3 Maryland.
Yeah, and for the Terps, this is just exactly how you want to finish it out. Down early, but we see right here, Edmondson does a great job avoiding the defender, gets it past Jordyn. Jordyn's there. I think, once again, maybe she'll think she can do a little bit better, but it's a nice job by Edmondson to find the back of the net.
5 goals in the opening frame for Maryland. Impressive stuff considering the team only scored 8 goals in the win on Wednesday.
Yeah, we're just saving all their goals for today. Didn't need them when they were playing Rutgers.
There's a dogfight up there in Piscataway. Laurel Gonzalez has won 123 draws entering this game, most in the Big Ten, and so far Gilmore has done a pretty good job to neutralize it. 5-3 in favor of Maryland. And we've seen a lot of violations already. This time it goes against Gilmore.
Yeah.
Hopkins has not scored in quite some time. And absolutely would love to get one back here. Maryland on a 3-0 run. To the front, not sure if that was a shot or a pass, but it is taken away by O'Farrell. And a whistle does blow. And that's the end of the quarter.
Yeah, Suriano, you can see, is just pumped, celebrating with their defense right there. And for Maryland, I think everybody's pumped. There's a late yellow card against Hopkins. Did look like that was a check to O'Farrell's head. But for the Terps, a brilliant response to an early Hopkins run.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Thomas dishes to Edmondson. Thought about a long shot. Weaves in, and there's the whistle.
Yeah, and that's good work right there. Maryland just keeping the pressure on.
Edmondson already a score on a free position tally. Another chance for the junior here. Scores another. 6-3 Maryland in front on Corey Edmondson's second tally today.
Yeah, you can tell she's fired up. Definitely plays with a lot of emotion. That's a great finish right there, though. That is cold-blooded, and she gives Maryland a 3-goal lead. And boy, for the Terps right now, they're rolling, and that's a great job making that pressure count. Yeah, Edmondson right there, great finish, and oh my gosh, it's just so fun to watch. You love seeing players who play, and you can tell how much they love the game and how fired up they are. That's her.
Edmondson now up to 51 points on the year with 42 goals.
Yeah, she's a menace. And the tough part as well for Hopkins is it feels like she's not necessarily – it feels like they've done a good job keeping her from getting too many clear-cut looks from open play. But she's getting on the ball. She's getting good positions. She gets free positions, and she makes them count.
A career year here in her third year. Product out of Severn, Maryland, McDonough High School.
Yeah, she's certainly a local girl showing up big time on the biggest stage.
And Dash, it's so interesting, a lot of these local products, because I'm sure we'll see it at some point, there are usually plenty of youth women's lacrosse teams in attendance for these games, and a lot of these players that play for Maryland grew up going to these games.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many women in this state who are outstanding lacrosse players, and of course, a school like Maryland, they're going to be able to recruit a lot of them, and we see, certainly, I think this is a game that probably means more to a lot of these women than a lot of others.
I mean, you got Baltimore County lacrosse in your backyard. You absolutely have to use it. That applies in the men's game and especially in the women's game.
For sure.
Maryland on a 4-0 run. How can Hopkins answer here?
With a goal. The basic answer, but it's the truest one.
Smith thought about it, flips it back, and that's a nifty look. Suriano kicks it away.
Yeah, another big stop by her. That was some creative work there by Hopkins and a good chance. That's the thing as well. Suriano has been huge for Maryland, and so far, Jordyn just hasn't been able to make some of those big stops. It's not that she's been air prone, but Suriano's stealing goals. Jordyn hasn't done that yet.
Hopkins continues to work it around. They've had some pretty good looks, just have not got it by Suriano since the 7-minute mark in the first quarter. That pass wasn't to really anyone in particular. Haas couldn't find it off her back, and Maryland comes up with it. Look at the wheels of Edmondson in transition.
Yeah, you can see she's really trying to push the pace there.
She's got the last two for Maryland. Game started with 3 goals in that first quarter from Jordyn Lipkin.
Yeah, it feels like if Lipkin took over to start this game, now Edmondson's taking over. Maryland just has so many weapons.
Offense has looked really strong today.
Sure has.
LaPointe, she's got a score today and a couple assists. Maryland just operates so patiently to find that open look on the doorstep. Seitz lost it momentarily. She's got it right back. So far, Blue Jays doing a nice job in this possession, not allowing anything open on the inside.
Yeah.
Seitz inside. Gilmore thought about it. Here's a more open look, and there's the whistle. That's been the recipe for Maryland. They get the ball around the 8-meter, and you force these free position looks.
Yeah, just over-aggressive defending right there. And that's the issue for Hopkins. They're doing a good job, but Maryland's able to take a bunch of time off the clock and then get the free position. So at the end, all that work kind of goes to naught.
Devin Livingston, the freshman. A chance for Maryland to go up by 4. And she does so. Devin Livingston's 14th puts Maryland on top 7-3. It's a 5-0 Terrapin run.
Yeah, cool, calm, and collected. That's exactly what Livingston needed.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Good for Hopkins. He just had a couple of opportunities where it hasn't capitalized. This is big. Angelo, a chance to get on the board, and she finally does so. The Blue Jays are back within 2 on Ava Angelo's 50th goal of the year.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to keep a player like her down. She's always going to get going, and that's a big goal for her and her team.
I don't know if you could ask for a much better scenario there if you're Johns Hopkins to get your top player on the field going and get back within 2. See the excitement on the Blue Jays sideline.
Yeah, I mean, and why wouldn't they be excited? That's a huge goal for them. Looked like an interesting one. Angela looked like she kind of put some spin on the ball. You would have thought that maybe Serrano would have been able to get something on that, but not able to do so. And credit to Hopkins. The game is very much on.
Angelo had 5 strikes against Maryland in the contest last year.
Yeah, she's been a Terp killer. So far, the Terps have done a good job silencing her, but now she's awake. Not a good sign here for Maryland.
It's been a game of runs. Hopkins started with the first 2. Maryland, a 5-0 run of its own, and now another 2-0 run here from Johns Hopkins.
Yeah, this is what you need if you're Hopkins. I mean, you just get this. If you get the next goal now, the pressure is very much on. You've done a nice job getting the draw control.
Super entertaining first half, to say the least. A big crowd here on hand, and they have had no shortage of things to cheer about today on both sides.
Yeah, lots of thrills here early on.
Well, here's another chance for Hopkins already with the last 2 goals. An opportunity here for a 3-0 run. That could be huge.
Oh, yeah, it totally would be. I mean, if Hopkins could find a way to tie this before halftime, man, they would have all momentum.
That one knocked down. Major comes up with the loose change. When she takes a big hit at the end after the whistle. I have to see if this is going to result in a card, and it does. Downey can't believe it, but she's going to have to head off here.
I have to say, I would want to see that one again because it looked like Downey really couldn't move that much. It looked like Major kind of took a dive. We'll see right here. Downey, oh no, that is a silly play. Oh, she's lifted her stick into Major.
An unforced error for Lacey Downey, who's been very strong, excellent in this game. Unnecessary contact by lifting the stick into a player's body, and Maryland will go up, player up here for 2 minutes.
Yeah, Downey stood her ground. No need to push her stick out like that.
Last time with the 2-minute penalty, Hopkins was able to kill off the entire thing. And it's really interesting. It's only a yellow card because it occurred within the midfield. And a shout out to our guys in the control room that are telling us everything here. 2 players up. Rather, a player up scenario here for 2 minutes. Maryland last week against Ohio State on Sunday struggled in player up opportunities. You could hear Kathy Reese being really vocal. A direct quote from one of those huddles. She said, "We went 7 minutes of player up and did not score a goal."
Yeah, she would not like a repeat performance of that today, for sure. For Maryland, though, now, it's just about making this opportunity count.
Whistle keeps it with Maryland after a great stick check. LaPointe inside, Lipkin whizzes it high.
Yeah, that was a clever look there from Lipkin. Tricky play to make, but you trust her to score it given the way she's been playing, so it's certainly not one you'll have a complaint about.
Maryland would like to end this 2-0 run from Hopkins. See if it can do so.
Yeah, I mean, 2 players.
Lipkin right on the doorstep. That's too easy for number 21 in white. She's got 4 today.
Yeah, and that time, great ball movement. Lipkin is not going to miss that one. With 2 players up, Maryland cashing in on that advantage.
4 strikes for Jordyn Lipkin, all of them pretty much from the same spot as well.
Yeah, and that's such just a nice bit of good ball movement. Lipkin's in a great position. The pass to her is great, and she just finishes with aplomb.
Maryland regains that 3-goal advantage and ends a 2-0 run for Johns Hopkins. So Maryland's already matched its total from Wednesday here in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, this Terps offense is certainly a totally different proposition today, playing some really great lacrosse. This is exactly what you want if you're Maryland. And now it's just about seeing, can you get another goal before halftime? Because you get the feeling this next goal is going to be big. What's going to be the deficit at halftime? If there is a goal before halftime, it'll be potentially a sliding doors moment.
Back to the draw control we go. 7-6 in favor of Hopkins, and another win for Gonzalez after the whistle. And Dash, the scheduling is so interesting when you research this Johns Hopkins team because beat Syracuse in overtime. Hopkins is 4-0 in overtime contests this year. Maryland really struggled with Syracuse here at home to open the season. It's just been kind of a tale of really two halves of the year for this Hopkins team. There's been, some puzzling performances, including a 13-2 loss last week to Michigan, but also some really impressive wins.
Yeah, I mean, certainly this is a Hopkins team where there's, like you said, it's been some really big wins, some baffling defeats. At the end of the day, though, there's been a lot more good than bad, and they find themselves top 10.
That pass got away. And see what the call is here. Looks like Angelo's going to have another opportunity here from the 8-meter. Tallied the last one for Hopkins, her first of the day. A second could be massive.
This is not what you want to see if you're Maryland.
Ava Angelo awaits. Here goes the junior. Suriano into the catching stick. Big save for the keeper. She's up to 5 today.
Yeah, it's a nice save. It's one you expect her to make given how it's coming at her, but it's also coming at her fast, and she has to be able to make sure she gets behind it. Good job for her.
Final 80 seconds of this first half. Whistle here. Not sure what the call is exactly here. An official running over this direction.
It's a timing issue.
141, so 138 they got possession. So it's 117, take 21 off, 69.
Looking at the timing of the free position shot.
Yeah, so it should be 69 seconds on the shot clock, not 52 as it was. Just a little bit of timekeeping right there. Nothing that a little bit of quick math can't fix, though.
Minute 15 to go first half. Action-packed, 8-5 Maryland on top. See if Maryland uses the majority of this shot clock here for pretty much one last possession. Already a 3-goal lead. Feel like it would make the most sense here, Dash.
Yeah, I mean, you would imagine now for Maryland, it's just about lead preservation, but also seeing if you can get a goal late. There's no reason to hurry things up, as you said. And Maryland's also been finding a lot of success getting shots off late in possession, so I don't think they'll be too stressed if they're not getting good looks here in the next 20 seconds or so.
Edmondson off the woodwork. Chase for this loose ball, and Hopkins wins it. Or rather, that's Maryland that comes out in front.
Yeah, that did not miss by much, and that is a bit of a jolt of energy to this Maryland team.
I thought O'Brien got there first, but Maryland's still with it. Abazia flips it. Lipkin, already the 4 today. That's a great save from Giardina.
Yeah, she comes up huge there for her team. Lipkin did really well to get that shot, but Giardina, great save.
Final seconds in, it's just flung across the pitch here in College Park in an electrifying first half.
Obviously, it's a step up to be playing regularly and have a big role thrust on you at a big program, no matter how talented you are. But this team, they're living up to their billing.
8-6 draw control in favor of Hopkins make it 9. Gonzalez, the leader in the Big Ten in draw controls, wins another.
That's the start you want here if you're Hopkins. You want to put Maryland under pressure early. They started fast in the first half. Another fast start here in the second would ensure that the Terps have to be rocking a little bit.
Hopkins started this game on top 2-0. Instead, a lot more quiet. See what the Blue Jays have in store. Ava Angelo finally tallied in that second quarter, but Maryland has done a really nice job. You see Major shadowing her on the left part of your screen. Long shot from Haas whizzes by.
Yeah, that was a decent look right there. And you know what? That's good as well because there were a few times in the first half where I felt like Hopkins kind of waited too long to pull a trigger on efforts from long distance, which, again, they're a little bit speculative, but why not just test Suriano? She's had some great saves, but make her work. And right there, I like seeing that aggressiveness from Hopkins.
Ball works around. Here's Downey. She's got a couple today. Maryland does a nice job just switching around some of these picks that have come through.
Yeah. And you can see, like, right there, there's a pick. Immediately, Sterling comes off it to get in front.
Oh, a lot of contact, and that's a charge called on Angelo.
Yeah, Maryland's done a great job against her, and right there, not just stopping her, but getting her to commit the foul. That's huge here for the Terps.
And although Ashley Mackin is out today with a lower body injury, it's her third game in a row missed for this Blue Jay team. Second leading scorer in the Big Ten with 55 goals. Ava Angelo is a 50-goal scorer, and Maryland has negated her for the most part to 1 so far.
Yeah, it's been pretty incredible. And like Angela, we talked about her being a scorer. When she gets hot, she can go crazy. Had 11 points on 8 goals last Thursday night at Ohio State. So she's a menace when she gets going. But tonight, Maryland really just keeping her not just off the score sheet, but kind of out of mind a lot on attack.
Here's Maryland's first possession of this second half. Terps did a great job finding cutters throughout the entirety of the first half. Edmondson goes down, and see if this is a look for her here.
Yeah, and certainly Maryland would love to get another goal here early on, put Hopkins really under a lot of pressure. It's kind of surprising because Hopkins has actually committed way fewer fouls to Maryland, 5 to the Terps 9, but it feels like they've given up way more free positions.
Edmondson already has 2 today. Hat trick for Corey Edmondson.
She's automatic. I mean, you just trust her to make those every single time. And it's interesting right now, looking at the stats, I was saying it felt like Maryland had more free positions. Hopkins actually has more. It's 6 free positions for Hopkins, 4 for Maryland. But the Terps are 4 for 4. They're making their free positions count. They're making them loom large. And right there, Edmondson just clinical. Kathy Reese approves.
Second straight game with a hat trick for Corey Edmondson.
Yeah, this is what you want to see from your stars, stepping up big in the big games. Corey Edmondson doing exactly that.
And now make that her 10th hat trick of the season.
It's pretty incredible stuff.
4-goal advantage for the Terps over the Blue Jays here at home.
Yeah, there's certainly too early to panic if you're Hopkins, but that's not the start you wanted to your second half.
That's an impressive catch from Regan O'Brien to win possession.
Both O'Briens have been contributing big time today for Hopkins.
Yep, Regan and Quinlan, both out of Charleston, Massachusetts.
So now for Hopkins, it becomes important to just get a goal here quickly. Don't let Maryland build too much momentum. Hopkins obviously came back from down 3 against Penn State last game. So 4-goal deficit won't intimidate them. Nice bit of defense there. It looked like it was Gilmore just batting that pass down. It's a clever idea.
Got it into the crease, and that's where Suriano has complete control in that circle. Maryland clears near side of the field. A long run in for Sullivan. Freshman attacker who sees a lot of time. It's tough to get minutes as a freshman on a Kathy Reese team, Dash.
It sure is, but there are several freshmen contributing on this one, and it's going to be exciting to see what these players can do before they're done with their careers here at Maryland.
Edmondson was one of those players a couple years back who got a lot of time as a freshman. Jordyn Lipkin in 2022. That team went all the way to the Final Four. Edmondson had a look, turned it wide.
Man, that's a rare miss from Edmondson. Looked like it was just kind of a tricky arm slot to shoot from, but you expect her to get that on target.
Maryland takes a lot of pride in shooting percentage, and today, numbers off the charts.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if they get the shot, it's probably going in, it feels like.
9 goals with 13 of them coming on shots on goal. So if you count percentage-wise from there, I'm no mathematician, but that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's over 2/3 of their shots are going in.
Thomas dishes the middle. Not as fortuitous as the bounce earlier to Lipkin. Hopkins gets possession.
Yeah.
Here comes Kielbasa in transition.
Great speed by Edmondson getting back there to get in front of her.
And she passes it off to Charlotte Smith. Hopkins can reset here.
Hopkins have some women who can really burn rubber through midfield. But right there, good job by Edmondson just slowing out the attack. But for Hopkins now, task remains the same. She's got to get a goal at some point.
4-goal lead, tied largest of the game for Maryland.
Yeah. Again, next goal will be critical.
That pass was high. And a chase for it. Smith wins the possession back for Hopkins.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Really nice work there by Soriano, because against Angelo, you expect her to be able to get into a chance to score there. Soriano really denied it.
Another shot went wide and came off the stick of Smith.
Yeah, this is better, though, from Hopkins. They're starting to get some good looks now. The wide open game seems to be maybe favoring them a little bit more.
Downey's got 2 in the contest.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Both players get released.
It's another good shot right there. Didn't miss by much.
So both teams back even. Downey a rip, and Soriano deflects it high.
Great save there by Soriano, because that was coming in with venom. She had to get something on it.
Shot clock should reset here, and it does.
This is Hopkins' best spell of the game. This is in the second half. I mean, not best spell of the game overall. But they've been really good in these last couple minutes, getting dangerous chances. They're knocking on the door right now.
Hopkins has not scored in this half.
I think Downey needed to shoot a little bit earlier there.
She gets it back. Here's a rip, and she ends the drought. 3 on the day for Lacey Downey.
She had a couple of huge chances in this possession, and finally she takes her chance. That was, as you said, absolutely ripped that one. That had venom and power on it. That's what Hopkins needed.
A massively needed goal, as you mentioned, for Hopkins. Back within 4.
Yeah, and it's firmly game on right now. A lot of time left here. If Hopkins can get it down to 3 before the end of the quarter, you would feel like they're maybe not in business, but they're certainly in a position to do some damage.
It was Hopkins' first goal since the 4:50 mark back in the second quarter.
It's Downey's 20th goal of the season.
Russo at the draw control again with Laurel Gonzalez. Gonzalez wins another.
So excited, yes, Laurel's from the Hopkins bench. They knew they needed that, and now this is a chance for them. They've had a nice spell here. Got a lot of pressure on Maryland, got a goal. They have momentum for the first time in a while.
Hopkins has had a couple of 2-0 runs in this game. Hopes for another here. Ball still loose, and it's scored. Angelo, who picked it up, and she finished her second today.
That is a bit of proper magic. It looked, obviously, looking from our angle, we're seeing through a whole traffic of players. And look, she went behind her back with that. See right here. And right there, that deflection, that's lucky that she corrals it. And oh yeah, that is behind the back. Excuse me. What a goal.
Took it behind the back, doing it with pizzazz. She's got 51 goals this season.
Yeah, that's a bit of proper showmanship right there. Whoa. So smooth. And Maryland has largely kept her in check today, but moments like that show you just what sort of a player she is.
Can only keep someone as talented as her off the board for so long.
Yeah, really. Don't look now, but Hopkins came back from down 3 last time out. There's a whole lot of lacrosse left to play here.
And Ash, it's interesting, that Penn State game, Angelo had just 1 score, but 5 assists in that one.
Yeah.
So she's a do-it-all kind of player.
She really is.
Can hear a little more energy from this Blue Jay bench.
Got another draw control. I mean, they're really starting to take control in the draw circle now.
12-7 in favor of Hopkins.
That'll do it for you. That's how you get a comeback. You just keep winning draws, and that's what they're doing right now.
Angelo thought about finding Smith. Instead goes down low to Gonzalez. She lets it fly. Suriano deflects it away, and the loose ball picked up by Sophie Hallis.
It's a good job by House to get that up too, because Angelo was lurking, and her last goal came off a loose ball.
Under 2 minutes to go in this third quarter. Hopkins with the last 2. And timeout called here by Kathy Reese. Kennedy Major burns her way through the midfield. Team's defensive anchor gets rid of it and heads back to her post. Maryland would love to end this little run that Hopkins has gone on here, the past 2 goals.
Yeah, they definitely would.
4 different goal scorers today for Maryland. That's a great stick check that comes from Downey. Maryland wins it back, though. .30 on the shot clock, and Lipkin commands the midfield.
It's been a good defensive possession from Johns Hopkins, but now they got to finish it.
Maryland 26-0 all-time against Johns Hopkins, hoping to keep that trend going today. The pass whizzes by, and here's a fight for it. Charlotte Smith picks up the ground ball. That's a big one. Here come the Blue Jays.
Mistake from Maryland back there. I hope that's not a reversion to how they started this game.
Last 2 have come from the Blue Jays. Angelo the last, it came with the behind-the-back variety. Pick and pop. Angelo missed it. And Suriano out of the cage to grab it. There's a whistle. That's the end of the third quarter.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Sullivan hopes to be the 5th goal scorer today for Maryland and give the lead back to 3. She puts it high.
Wow. It's been a great set of possessions here for Maryland in terms of creating chances, but now they're like Hopkins a few minutes ago where they just can't finish them.
Avazia walled off. Sullivan weaves through. A lot of contact. Lipkin connects, but no goal.
Wow. You knew it'd be Lipkin who would get the big chance at the end, and she converts it, but there's an issue.
We may have had an offensive charge there on Sullivan.
Great job by O'Brien bringing this up at pace.
It's Regan O'Brien. Allows the offense to set up. The last 3 have gone in the back of the net from Hopkins. Back within 2 goals, trying to make another fourth quarter comeback.
Right now, you wouldn't bet against them.
There's a palpable energy coming from the near sideline. Kielbasa back to her right, and she's kept out of the offensive zone. .30 for Hopkins to work with. Kielbasa back up top. To her right, had a wide open cutter, missed her.
Yeah.
Card comes out. They're going to get Maddie Sterling here. Quick look at the goal that was waved off here, and I think Sullivan, just caught the elbow up to the head area of Hannah Johnson.
Unfortunate for Maryland.
Free position look upcoming here for Hopkins. Smith to the front, and Suriano stopped it.
That's huge right there. Good opportunity for Hopkins, but Suriano with another big save. Jordyn's been making some big ones at the other end. Now it's Suriano's turn.
Suriano up to 9 saves on the day.
Wow.
Here's the ride from Johns Hopkins. Approaching the final 10 minutes of play. It has gotten very enticing here in College Park. 3-0 run for the Blue Jays.
House with some nice speed and escapability there.
Got to be good on the clear.
Yeah, you sure do. But also, if you're Hopkins, you can't give up too many big chances to Maryland this time. Maryland's gotten some big chances recently, just haven't finished them. Corey Edmondson's starting to become more of a factor again. That's not a good sign for Hopkins.
Maryland without a goal since the 7:14 mark of the third quarter. Quite some time without a score. We're in the final 20 of the shot clock. This is where Hopkins has broke down at times. LaPointe, the cutter, Sights, missed it.
Oh, it was a great pass, but just flicked off Sights' stick. Hopkins have broken down again. That would have been a huge chance, but Sights couldn't corral it.
Still sometime, Lipkin to the front. It's saved by Giardina.
Giardina is coming up huge here late in this game.
Maryland wins it, and this should be fresh time on the shot clock. And wow, what a ground ball won by Maryland as Terp is shaken up a little bit behind the net.
And it's a yellow card too. So McNaughton's gonna be off for a couple minutes.
Morgan Giardina has flipped a switch in this thing. And McNaughton trots off the field. It appears McNaughton now has her second yellow of the game. So she's suspended momentarily.
Oh, that's needless from McNaughton. Unnecessary, and now her team's down a player late in the game where they really cannot afford to go for another Maryland goal.
Maryland cashed in the player up last time out. I mean, this is a massive offensive possession in this game. Goal here could go a long way for Maryland. Thomas, doorstep, she scores!
Exactly the response Maryland needed. It was nice ball movement. Thomas wide open. She is not going to miss.
That ends a lengthy drought, and the Terps are back up by 3.
15 minutes scoreless there for Maryland.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Smith kept to the outside. Kathy Reese wants a ward.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release.
To the front, Smith had a lot of contact as the penalty releases. There's indeed the stoppage. Let's see what the officials say here. It's going to be a look here for Smith, one-on-one with Suriano.
This is absolutely critical now for Hopkins. Every chance like this, you got to take if you're the Blue Jays.
Point blank. What tricks does Smith have in the bag? She puts it wide. Looks like a piece of it got by the Maryland defense there. The front ball still loose. It comes in front and a score. Laurel Gonzalez on cleanup crew. It's a 2-goal game here in College Park.
Wow, and that is massive. It was a huge miss off the free position. The ball was loose, and again, fortuitous bounce. This time it goes Hopkins' way. We see right there, that's deflected off the post, actually looks like. And Gonzalez, that is critical. Right player, right time. That is a massive goal for Hopkins.
And she's been really the MVP of this half for Hopkins, considering the work she's done on the draw control. And now she's got a goal. That's her 4th of the year.
Yeah, she has given them a foundation to come back into this game. And now she's contributing massively on the offensive end with that goal. And if she gets the draw control here, Hopkins can score to make it a 1-goal game. And at that point, all bets are off.
She only had 1 goal in the first 14 games of the year. Now she's got 3 in the last 2. Two-goal game, and this is a very important draw. Fight for it, and it's picked up by Gonzalez. How did she come up with that?
Man, that's crazy, and that's really impressive work by Gonzalez yet again off the draw. She is starting to dominate there in this game. It just feels like Maryland can't get possession easily at all, and as a result, Hopkins is just putting loads of pressure on them.
(14-9) in favor of Hopkins. It's been dominant in this second half. 6 minutes to play. Contact and a charge on Angelo. That's the second time she's been the guilty recipient of that.
Yeah, and that's an unfortunate mistake there for Hopkins. They did not need that from Angelo, one of their best players, if not their best active player.
O'Farrell gets it up ahead here for Livingston out of the box. And she wheels her way into the offensive zone. If you're Maryland here, Dash, do you slow this thing down or just try to go find the best shot possible right here?
Absolutely. You have to slow the game down here. There's not a lot of time. Hopkins still needs 2 goals. You've been doing a good job just working clock and then putting them in trouble late in the clock. Just got to try and kill as much time as you can.
LaPointe just works her way around, makes a move to the front, goes 5-0. Maryland's back up by 3 on Lauren LaPointe, second today.
That is clutch right there, personified. A great move by LaPointe and a great finish.
All the tricks in the bag for the sophomore.
It's a great move. Gets by a couple defenders and just fires that perfectly. What a shot. Oh, I think Jordyn may feel she could have done a little bit better there, but also a great shot by LaPointe.
It's tough. Jordyn has made some impressive saves here in this second half.
Yeah,
that one right between the wickets.
She's kept Hopkins in this one. But of course, if you're Hopkins right now, they've had 7 draw controls to just 2 for Maryland in the second half. And for the Blue Jays, you would not bet against them getting an 8th right here. And if they can get the draw control and a quick goal, it's very much still on.
Under 5 minutes and a 3-goal lead is relatively safe oftentimes, but never certain.
Especially not when you're facing a team who's done as well in the draw control circle as Hopkins has. They could get a few more possessions in this game.
And a violation.
Make that 8 of 10 draw controls in the second half for Hopkins.
It is an absurd disparity in this one.
Yeah. In a way, it's a miracle that, honestly, these two teams, it's been 4-4 between them.
So Tim McCormick takes the timeout here. His team down by 3 with 4:37 to play. Stick with us here on Big Ten Plus. We'll be back.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Last goal for Maryland came from LaPointe. And pestering defense put on Kate's sights. Here is the aforementioned LaPointe, who passes off to Livingston. Under 3 minutes to play. Massive possession in this game. Here could be a look. Thomas, she scores!
Wow.
A momentum-shifting goal for Chrissy Thomas. Her second, and Maryland's back up by 3.
That might have just done it. Thomas with a great critical finish right there.
She beat her defender and put it right past Giardina.
Yeah, it's just good skill, getting away from the defender, good finish. And that's a veteran play, one of Maryland's veterans right there. Known more for her assists, but she steps up and look at that celebration from Soriano. She knows what that means.
That was an awesome shot of Maryland's keeper. She's still jubilant over there in the cage. Thomas already looking at some film. There's Soriano. A lot more comfortable with that 3-goal lead back.
Oh, yeah. It's going to take a Herculean effort now from Hopkins to pull off the win here.
It came because Maryland won the draw before calling the timeout. That was the biggest step forward.
Absolutely.
Hopkins had dominated at the circle all second half, 8 of 10.
I mean, they basically have to win this draw here to have any hope.
If Maryland can kill off another 90 seconds. Here's going to be the battle for it. Sullivan's got a step, and she's got it.
Wow.
Wheels from the freshman to win it. That's 2 in a row from her.
What a play by Sullivan. And she's been massive for Maryland on these draw controls down the stretch. Talk about that for Maryland. Dominated on the draw control all second half, but they get the 2 biggest ones. That's resilience.
Clutch factor from a player in her first year. Appears to be slight confusion here. Hopkins thought Maryland called timeout, but evidently did not do so. Maryland can work this clock down to under a minute.
Yeah, there cannot be any hurry here for Maryland. Just got to control the ball. If you get a goal, great. If you don't, just take it down to right about minute 15 seconds.
Point to the front, tried to find Livingston, it's loose, and backed up by Edmondson. On the front, Livingston, Lipkin, and that's in the stick of Giardina. She keeps this thing alive.
It's a couple massive saves by her. She's really stepped up down the stretch here today. Some huge saves late in this game.
That would have been the dagger right there.
Yeah.
Hopkins needs a goal and needs it quick. Maryland 26-0 all-time against Hopkins, and it can feel it. 60 seconds to play. Haas takes a big hit there from Schaefer. 54 ticks left. Already 3 in the game for Haas. Passes to the inside, and a score for Angelo.
Yeah, she's had some big ones today. Hasn't scored a ton, but when she has, even variably been spectacular or important.
Ava Angelo gets to a hat trick. It took some time to do so, but beautiful cut to the front. A great pass from Haas.
That's a testament as well to just what a player she is. On a day like today where she's been kept quiet very successfully, she still finds a way to get a hat trick.
Now we go back to the draw circle where Maryland has won the last two, and if it can do it one more time, that probably does it.
Yeah, I mean, Hopkins has to win this draw and get a goal fast. If there's to be any chance here. This is the ball game right here.
Biggest moment of the game right here, right now. And Hopkins wins it. Not done yet. Here's Angelo. Pass to the front. Behind the back, Haas goes wide.
Oh, man, that was the chance for Hopkins. They did really well to get the ball.
And Maryland gets the chase as a result. A risky play, and it does not pay off.
It's a great pass. Oh, Haas scored on one of those earlier.
Edmondson with it. Here she goes through the midfield. Does she have the wheels to get it clear? She does. Time ticks. 15 seconds. Lipkin passes it away. Whistle, Gilmore has it, but that's it. A valiant effort in this second half for Hopkins, and it doesn't matter. Maryland improves to 27-0 all-time against Hopkins. Number 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament next week.